You sit down for the one thing that actually matters today. Cursor blinking, first line waiting, and it feels like dragging your hand through wet cement. 4 minutes in, nothing has landed. You've reread the same sentence 3 times and written none of your own. So you reach for the exit you always reach for. Just check one thing. Just a quick break. Come back when you're actually in the mood. And under the reaching, quietly, a verdict has already formed. Not today. Not feeling it. This isn't working. Hold that verdict a second. Because you're about to trade the whole day for what 4 minutes told you, and those 4 minutes are the most misleading data you'll get all day. Here's the strange fact sitting underneath it. The first 5 minutes of almost anything feel worse than any 5 minutes that come after. Same task, same you. Minute 2 is agony, minute 25 is fine, sometimes even good. The task never changed. Something in you did. So this is one mechanism, followed all the way down. Why the opening of everything feels the hardest, and why your whole session gets decided in the exact window you're least able to judge it. Start with what's actually happening in those minutes. When you begin anything, your attention doesn't switch on. It ramps. Think of a cold engine on a winter morning. You turn the key and it doesn't catch. It grinds, coughs, drags. Not because it's broken. Because it's cold. Your focus is that engine. The first few minutes are the crank, heavy and rough and loud with resistance. Every push in that window costs more than it will later. This isn't a flaw in you. It's the shape of starting. Getting a still thing moving always costs more than keeping a moving thing moving. There's a name for it in chemistry, the shove it takes to get a reaction going before it runs on its own. Your brain pays that shove up front, every single time you begin. So minute 1 is not the task at cruising speed. It's the task at its heaviest and coldest and most expensive. It is the worst it will ever feel. And here's the cruelty of it. Minute 1 is also the exact moment you decide whether to keep going. You're making the most important call of the whole session, stay or bail, on its single least representative sample. The cold crank. The wet cement. Everyone accepts that an engine warms up. Nobody extends the same courtesy to their own attention. You'd never junk a car for coughing once in the cold. But that's exactly what happens at the desk. First cough, and you write off the whole machine for the day. Now the part that actually traps you. Your brain feels that early friction, and it captions it wrong. It doesn't say, I'm cold, give it 5 minutes. It says, I don't want this. This is boring. This isn't working. I'm not in the mood. Same sensation, wrong caption. The friction of a cold start gets read as a fact about the task, or worse, a fact about you. Picture the cold tap first thing in the morning. You turn it on and the first water out runs cold and cloudy. You don't conclude the well is broken. You know to let it run. The cloud clears, the water warms, and the tap was fine the whole time. That first cupful was never the verdict on the well. But at your desk you drink the first cold cupful and swear off the water. You take the hardest, coldest 4 minutes and file them as the truth about the whole task. And the verdict sticks, because it feels like insight. It arrives with total confidence, this genuinely isn't working, and confidence feels a lot like being right. It isn't insight. It's a reading taken off a cold instrument. The needle simply hasn't warmed up yet. So the thing that ends your session is almost never the task itself. It's the caption you stuck on the first 5 minutes. Which is why this one window decides so much. Watch the exact place where 2 completely different days split apart. 2 versions of you, same morning, same task, same exact supply of grit. One reads the cold friction as a stop sign and leaves. One reads it as a warm-up and stays. By the end of the hour one has a finished thing and one has a wasted morning and a story about being unfocused. Nothing separated them but the caption on minute 2. Because look at what the cost of the task actually does over time. It does not hold flat. It starts brutal, the cold crank, and it falls minute by minute as the engine warms. By 15 minutes in, the thing that felt impossible is just what you happen to be doing. So the first 5 minutes aren't a small slice of the task. They're the toll booth for all of it. The whole price gets charged at the gate, up front. Pay the toll, stay through the cold, and the road opens. Refuse it and you never see the road at all. You only ever meet the booth. And there's a second thing that switches on once you're through the gate. Something that quietly starts pulling for you. In 1927, Bluma Zygarnik noticed that waiters remembered unpaid orders in perfect detail, then forgot them the instant the bill was settled. An open task stays lit in the mind. A closed one goes dark. A started but unfinished task creates a small live tension that pulls you back to close it. And here's the whole point. That pull only switches on once you've started. Before you begin, there's no loop, no pull, nothing helping. It's all push. Just you against the cold engine, alone. The first 5 minutes are where you switch the machine from push to pull. From you dragging the task, to the task starting to draw you in. That's what those minutes actually buy you. Not a bit of progress, a change in who's doing the work. You, or the momentum you've just switched on. So the cost curve and the loop both point the same way. Leaving is cheapest in the first 5 minutes and gets expensive fast after that. Which is exactly why you're quitting clusters right there at the start. It's the only spot where walking out still feels free. 5 minutes later it wouldn't even occur to you. So here's the turn. The problem was never a shortage of motivation. Motivation is what a warm engine feels like. It arrives after you start, never before. Waiting for it is waiting for the car to warm up before you turn the key. And it was never weak discipline either. You don't need more force to shove through 5 minutes. You need to stop handing those 5 minutes a vote. That's the whole move. Rule the opening out of court. Whatever you feel in the first 5 minutes is inadmissible, testimony from a cold instrument, and you throw it out. You're still allowed to quit. Some tasks genuinely should be dropped. But you're not allowed to decide it while cold. The verdict has to wait for a warm engine. Give the task an honest hearing at minute 15, warm, and if it's still wrong, walk. That's a real verdict. Minute 2 never was. Which leaves you one lever, and it's about the start, not about forcing yourself harder. Take the deciding out of the cold window entirely. Decisions made cold are the ones that kill you, foggy and heavy and tilted toward the exit. So leave none of them to make once you've sat down. Pre-decide the exact first move. Not the whole task, the first small action. The precise sentence, the precise stretch, the precise file you open. Chosen the night before, while you were warm. So when you arrive cold, there's no weighing, no choosing, no gap for the exit to speak into. You just run the move that's already on the rails. Then one rule guards the window. You may stop, but only after 5 minutes, never during them. The clock decides when judgment is allowed, not your mood. 5 minutes is nothing. Anyone can be cold and bad at a thing for 5 minutes. You're not asking yourself to be disciplined, just to be patient for the length of one warm-up. And notice what you're actually protecting. Not the outcome. Not how much you get done, not how good it is. Just the crossing of the cold window. Protect that one thing and the rest arrives on its own, the warmth, the momentum, the pull, the work. They were always downstream of the same small gate. So go find the person whose focus you envy. The one who sits down and just works, like it costs them nothing at all. They are not warmer-blooded than you. Their first 5 minutes feel exactly like yours, cold and heavy and resistant. The cold engine plays no favorites. The only difference is they stopped letting those minutes testify a long time ago. They start on rails, they wait out the cold, they never pull their mood at minute 2. They quit tasks too, but at minute 15, warm and clear, not at minute 2, cold and fogged. Their verdicts just get taken off a warm instrument. Now go back to you, 4 minutes into the blank page, certain it just wasn't your day. That certainty wasn't insight. It was a cold engine coughing, exactly the way a cold engine coughs. You read the crank as a verdict and shut the whole machine down. The task wasn't too hard. You weren't lazy or unfocused. You just took the reading too early, off the one part of the day that's built to feel like this. The version of you that gets things done isn't a different person with more grit. It's this exact person, 5 warm minutes further in than you usually let yourself go. So tomorrow, don't try to feel ready. You won't, and now you know why, and you know it isn't the verdict it pretends to be. Just run the move you set the night before, and refuse to judge it for 5 minutes. Let the engine be cold. Let it cough. Keep your hand off the ballot box. By the time the 5 minutes are up and you're finally allowed to decide, the engine will be warm, the loop will be pulling, and there'll be almost nothing left to quit. The whole game was never getting yourself to feel like starting. It was refusing to trust how starting feels. The first 5 minutes decide everything, but only because you keep letting them cast the deciding vote. Take the vote away, wait out the cold, and the day stops being decided by its worst 4 minutes.